So in the last class, we were discussing crystal oscillators. Okay, in the last class, we were discussing the crystal oscillators. Okay, right? And primarily, we started discussing the crystal. Okay, right? Many things regarding the crystal we have discussed, and this is the this is how your crystal, okay, the symbol of your crystal is, right? And we have discussed that the equivalent circuit of the crystal is these elements, right? And we have discussed that the series resonant frequency is 1 by 2 pi root LC into square root of q square by 1 plus q square, where q is quality factor. Okay. And right, all this resonant frequency, everything you have studied in 12th standard. So directly we are not going to derive at this level. Okay. So we will directly take the formula, right? Quality factor is nothing but omega L by R, we discussed. Now, actually what happens is, if we neglect this R, if we consider R0, Q becomes infinity, okay? Then FR will be 1 by 2 pi root LC, okay? Means the series resonant frequency for ideal case where we neglect the resistance R will be 1 by 2 pi root LC, okay, right? Even practically, Q is a large value, so we can still consider the series resonant frequency as 1 by 2 pi root LC. Okay, right? Series resonant frequency as 1 by 2 pi root LC. Anyway, all this we have seen in the previous class. Then we have seen series resonant frequency is 1 by 2 pi root LC. Parallel resonating frequency is, okay, parallel resonating frequency is 1 by 2 pi root L into C equivalent, where C equivalent is CM by CM plus C, okay, where C equivalent is CM into C by CM plus C. All this we have seen in the previous class. Okay, so what do you mean by series resonance? Resonance considering only this branch, or resonance by considering only the series combination of the three elements, which is the left side branch, that is RLC. Okay, the resonance that we get by considering only this, right? That is the series resonance. Now, resonance considering the effect of CM also will give the parallel resonance. Okay, it actually what happens is, if you take the equivalent impedance and imaginary part equal to 0, you will get two frequencies. Okay, right? Imaginary part equal to 0. Actually, you will get two frequencies. One, they named it as a series resonant frequency. Another, they named it as parallel resonance frequency. Okay, which is 1 by 2 pi root L into C. Okay. So, students, whatever you have done in your 12th standard, again, just repeat. Anyway, you already know this is R, this is j omega L, okay? This is 1 by j omega C. This is 1 by j omega Cm. You can treat all these as resistors, series combination, okay? And to that series combination, parallel combination, okay? Then that will be the overall impedance. And to get the resonant frequency of that overall impedance, you have to equate the imaginary part to 0. There you neglect R, okay, and then you will get the two frequencies. Then you will get the two frequencies: series resonant frequency, parallel resonant frequency, which we have discussed in the previous class. Okay, again, because this is 12th standard level, we are not deriving, we are directly taking the formula. Okay, but for your practice, you can do it. Then this graph also we have discussed. As we gradually increase the frequency, okay, at very low frequency, the capacitors will act as open circuit or high impedance. Okay, so very low frequencies, both the capacitors will have high impedance, right? As we gradually increase the frequency, the impedance offered by capacitance reduces, but the impedance offered by inductance will start to increase. Okay, so because of this, again what happens, now the Cm will dominate because it is in parallel. Okay, the mounting capacitance Cm is in parallel, so now this will dominate. So at after certain frequencies, okay, after certain frequencies, the what will happen, okay, the impedance will gradually reduce. Very high frequency, the crystal will act as short circuit. Okay, all this we have discussed in the previous class, right? Now okay, so we have to see for this actually how many resonating frequencies we have, students, for this crystal. How many resonating frequencies we have? Yes,
Two.
two. Okay. So important observation. Whereas previously, whatever the oscillator circuits we discussed, how many resonating frequencies those oscillator circuits had? Yes, students. Earlier we have,
One.
yes, very good. The earlier discussed oscillator circuits, they had only one resonating frequency, whereas here actually if we equate the imaginary part to zero, like in that case, we are getting two resonating frequencies. Okay, right? So what can happen is the crystal can oscillate between these two. Okay, right? The crystal can oscillate between these two frequencies, right? But there is a way where you can equate both the frequencies. Okay, right? You can do some, see all the values as a designer, all the values of inductor, capacitor, whatever components we have. Okay, right? We can, for example, we can design the crystal, okay, or the shape of the crystal, everything. We can control so that we can obtain the required, we can obtain or we can meet the requirements. Okay, so far all the oscillator circuits have a single frequency of oscillation. Okay, now if this has two different frequencies of oscillation, okay, right, then what happens is the, okay, the oscillating frequency now can lie in between these two. Okay, right? In simple words, what I'm trying to say is it is advantageous if we have a single frequency. Okay, right? It is advantageous. See, all the oscillator circuits that we discussed so far have single resonating frequency. Okay, this has two resonating frequencies. So, right? So there is a chance that the output signal may fluctuate between the two frequencies. That problem can be avoided. Okay, such a problem can be avoided. To avoid that, what is the technique we can use? Anybody answer? Or say simple now, simple school level mathematics. How can we make Fs and Fp nearly equal? I hope you are able to see both Fs and Fp. What adjustments we can make to the value of Cm and C, okay, so that Fs and Fp will become equal. See, Fs and
Cm is
yes, Cm is
very greater than C.
okay. Let us, okay, what is your name? Hello. Okay, no problem. You don't want to tell. Okay. Right. So what happens here is your friend says Cm is much greater than C. Okay, let us see what. Can you explain what happens if Cm is much greater than C?
No, no, sir, that is not the case. It will lead to 1.
Okay, anyway, let us see. If Cm is much greater than C, okay, your friend says Cm is much greater than C. So In the denominator, what I can neglect? It is not 1. What you told correct only. Yeah, explain. If CM is much greater than
CM, sir.
denominator will be CM. Numerator CM into C. If CM much greater than C, denominator is only CM. Okay. Again, let us discuss denominator. If CM is much greater than C, the C we can neglect in the denominator. Okay. 1000 plus 0.001. 0.001 we can neglect because 1000 is very large. We can say nearly equal to 1000. Okay, right? Suppose there is a person, he has 100 crore rupees, very rich person. You give him 1 rupee, it doesn't matter for him. Okay, right? He don't care. He will not say, I have 100 crores plus 1 rupee. He will not say, I have 100 crores. Okay, right? So, a large value when added with a small value, you can say it is nearly equal to the large value. So Cm plus C, we can say nearly equal to Cm. Okay. Already 1 Cm is there in the numerator. Cm in the numerator, denominator will cancel. What will remain? C equivalent will be?
C's.
C.
Very good. So C equivalent will be C. If C equivalent is C, Fs and Fe, are they equal?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So this is what an important condition or the essential condition for your crystal oscillator. The essential condition for your crystal oscillator is the Cm value. We have to, the designer has to take care that the Cm value is much greater than in the crystal, the Cm value should be much greater than the C. Okay, right? The designer has to take care of that. So Cm considering much greater than C, what we have here, we have both the series and parallel resonant frequencies. Okay, nearly equal. And then now we can say, okay, the two resonating frequencies are now the same, and the crystal will resonate at that one particular frequency, okay, which is 1 by 2 pi root LC. Okay, clear? Any doubts so far? Students, any doubts so far? Yes, students.
No, sir.
Okay, good.
No.
Yeah. So here it is mentioned. We said Cm is much greater than C, or C is much less than Cm. Okay, right? So C is much less than Cm. So that is the condition. Okay, next. Now, another mathematical part, that is, see, usually the resistance, this resistance R is usually a small value. Okay, that actually what it represents is internal loss. Okay, it represents the internal loss. Usually the internal loss is very small. Okay, when we see problems, you will see the values that it is very small. Then we can neglect, right? If we neglect, what will be the equivalent of this circuit? It will be only this LC, the series combination of LC in parallel with Cm. Okay, I am repeating. R is a small value. Practically, we can neglect R. Then this left side branch has only L and C in series. And the equivalent circuit is L and C in series. Okay. The series combination of L and C in parallel with Cm. That is the equivalent or the reduced equivalent circuit if we neglect R. Okay, very easy. Neglect R gone. So left branch two components, right bad one component, that is the equivalent circuit. Now to that equivalent circuit, if you find impedance, if you take pen paper, again 12th standard I am not doing, but okay, you can try it, and if you have doubts you can get that. What is this L? J omega L. What is this? The impedance of this C? 1 by J omega C. What is the impedance of this Cm? 1 by J omega Cm. So taking that, it is as good as 3 resistors. Easily to you, okay? Series combination. The result you get, to that you will use parallel formula. If this is like Z1 and if this is like Z2, Z1, Z2 by Z1 plus Z2. If you use that and if you simplify, again because this is well standard at the engineering, we are directly taking the formula. If you use that, okay, neglecting R, right, okay, see here, if we neglect R, okay, then if you find out the equivalent impedance of the crystal, it will be this, the result you will get will be minus J by omega Cm into omega square minus omega S square by omega square minus omega P square, where omega S is series resonant frequency in radian per second, okay? Omega P is parallel resonant frequency in radian per second. Okay, anyway, so this is the equivalent impedance that we get if we neglect R. Okay, right? Now let us analyze this. Okay, let us analyze this. If omega is very small, okay, right? If omega is very small, what will this entire, now means you have to use mathematics. Limit omega tends to 0. Omega is very small means, right? How will you do that? Mathematically, you have to use limits that you studied in your school or 12th standard. Okay. Limit omega tends to 0. What will this jx will become? Fast. You can see and tell. Limit omega tends to 0. What will jx become?
Infinite.
Yes. Very good. Correct answer.
Infinity.
Very good. Correct answer. But plus infinity or minus infinity?
Minus infinity.
Very good. Can you explain how, please, so that everybody will understand?
When omega tends to 0, the first term, that is minus j by omega Cm. In this, we replace omega with 0. So 1 by 0 is always infinity. And we have minus symbol here. So minus infinity. When any infinity into anything, it is infinity.
Okay, very good. But again, see, if it is infinity by infinity form, then it cannot be 0. That also you have to take care. Okay. So for that, the remaining term also you should confirm. Once you have to check what is the remaining term. If it is non-infinity, you have to check. Okay. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Remaining term means omega, what you said is absolutely correct, but safe side it is always advantageous. You have, for example, if this numerator, for example, if omega square minus omega square is becoming infinity, then we'll have infinity by infinity form. We have to use L'Hospital's rule and simplify. Okay, so that you have to be very careful. Anyway, here let us see what is the situation. This term. Okay, can anybody explain what about this term? Omega square minus omega square by omega square minus omega p square. What about that term? If omega tends to 0, that will be, what will that term be?
Omega s by omega s square by omega p square.
Very good, correct answer. So if you take omega 0, omega s square by omega p square. So this term is not infinity, neither it is 0. Okay, but here omega, if you are taking 0, this entire term is becoming minus infinity. Okay, so the impedance offered will start from minus infinity for low values of omega or low values of f. F is, okay, omega is 2 pi f. F is 2 pi by f is omega by 2 pi. Okay, so 2 pi is constant, isn't it? So the graph for f or omega, the shape will be the same. Anyway, so as per what we discussed, for omega very small, the x will be minus infinity. Okay, right? The x, other than the j term, whatever we have, that is the x. X will be minus infinity. So the impedance will start from minus infinity. Okay, the impedance, right, will start from minus infinity. Okay, so usually what an impedance will consist of, it will consist of real part, okay, and the imaginary part. Okay, real part is the resistance, the imaginary part is the reactance. Okay, so the reactance, which is x here, right, starts from the minus infinity. Okay, it starts from minus infinity. So the graph starts from minus infinity. Next, what happens when omega is equal to omega s? What happens when omega is equal to omega x? X will become what?
Zeros.
Very good. When omega is equals to omega s, this term becomes 0. Okay, this term becomes 0. Omega s, this is omega s minus omega s. Anyway, so this term is 0. Denominator is not 0. Okay, so 0 divided by any non-zero will be 0. 0 by 0 form, again you have to use L'Hospital. That is not the case. Need not worry. Here 0 by some non-zero. Right? Okay. So see, although we take Cm much greater than C, okay, and if we make omega s, omega p, they will be very, very close to each other. You can approximate they are equal, but mathematically there will be a difference. So this will not become 0. Okay, right? So anyway, what happens, again I am repeating, what happens if omega is equal to omega s? This is 0. 0 into any other non-zero, right? Multiplied or divide will be 0. Okay, so 0 minus sign plus sign, both are zeros, isn't it? So x is 0. When omega is equal to omega s, x is 0. When omega is equal to omega s, x is 0. Okay, so 0. When omega is equal to omega x, the corresponding y value we are taking 0. So this is the point here. One point we got when omega is 0, minus infinity. When omega is omega s, 0. So the graph will come like this. Next, when omega is equal to omega p, what will happen? X will become, yes, students.
Infinity.
Okay, very good. When omega becomes omega p, x will become infinity. Okay, so when omega is omega p, the x will approach to infinity, right? It will go on. When it comes to close to omega p, the x will approach infinity, right? Now here we have to consider two cases. When omega tends to omega p, means slightly greater than omega p, okay, slightly less than omega p, right? Now, when omega is slightly less than omega, nearly equal, but slightly less, okay, because I want to understand whether it is plus infinity or minus infinity, okay, for that only we are doing this. When omega is slightly, omega is omega p, but slightly less than omega p. Okay, so this term, will it be positive or negative?
Negative.
This term will be negative. Already we have minus sign. So x will become plus infinity or minus infinity?
Plus
Plus
infinity.
infinity.
Very good. Correct answer. So as we come closer, see, we started when omega is 0, x is what? Minus infinity. Okay. When omega gradually increase, if we make omega s, then this x is becoming 0. So from that we understood the curve will come like this. Okay. Now, when omega becomes close to omega p but slightly less, then it is plus infinity. Likewise, second case. Now say omega is nearly equal to omega p but slightly greater. So what will be the denominator? Will it be positive or negative? Omega is nearly equal to omega p but slightly greater than omega p. So that denominator will be positive or negative?
Positive.
Very good, positive. So overall x, will it be positive or negative?
Negative.
Very good. Okay. So when omega is equals to omega p, it is infinity, but to understand whether it is plus infinity or minus infinity, we are taking slightly greater than omega p. Your friend has said x is negative. So it will, right? It will start from minus infinity. Okay. So what happens is the curve comes like this, goes to infinity. Then from minus infinity, there is a discontinuity here. This is not a continuous graph. There is a discontinuity and the graph continues from minus infinity. Okay. Now, when omega tends to infinity, what will this be? Students, when omega tends to infinity. Last case.
And again, this time I think we have to use L'Hospital's.
Very good, correct answer. What is the reason why L'Hospital's rule?
Because in the second term we'll be having infinity minus omega s square by infinity minus omega p square. So this will lead to infinity by infinity.
Yes, yes. Okay. Yeah. So continue explaining what will be the situation. Okay, L'Hospital's rule we will use. Yeah. So anybody can explain. So how will we go ahead with the expression for x? So what is the L'Hospital rule first of all? What is it? Yes. What you need to do, differentiate the numerator and denominator, is it? With respect to here x-axis is omega. So differentiate numerator and denominator with omega, right? Okay. So actually what you can take is, you can take omega square minus omega s square numerator, and denominator here also there is another omega. So omega into omega square minus omega p square. So that will be omega cube minus omega into omega p square. Okay. That you can differentiate. So first, if you differentiate this one, it will be 2 omega. Okay. Denominator, if you differentiate, what will remain? Okay, anyway, differentiate the entire denominator with respect to omega. What will remain?
2 omega.
But there is one more omega in the left, isn't it? So what you do is, first to multiply that omega. See, before Cm there is one other omega, isn't it? So that omega you multiply inside to avoid confusion. Okay. That way also you can do, but to avoid confusion, the omega multiply. So denominator will be Cm open brackets omega cube minus omega into omega p square. So that you have to differentiate. Leave alone Cm. Cm is constant. So directly you can go inside and differentiate. So tell me, what will simple school level differentiation only we are discussing. What will be the
Cm
differentiation?
into 3
Cm
omega. 3 omega square minus omega p square.
Very good. Okay. So numerator is 2 omega. Denominator is 3 omega square minus 3 omega square minus omega p square into Cm. Okay, right. Again, it is in Again, it is in which form? Numerator 2 omega, denominator 3 omega square. We are considering
Infinity
omega.
by infinity.
Very good. We are considering omega tends to infinity. So again, it is in infinity by infinity. So again, what we should do? Again, we have to use L'Hospital's. Okay. So now, again, the 2 omega, if you differentiate, what will remain?
2.
Very good. Denominator, we have 3 omega square minus omega p square. That if you differentiate, what will remain? Three omega square minus omega p square into Cm. If you differentiate 3 omega square, see remaining is constant.
6
6. So 6 omega into Cm. What will remain in the denominator? 6 omega into Cm. Numerator 2. Now omega tends to infinity. What will x be?
0.
Very good. Okay.
0.
Yeah. So because it is in the form of 2 divided by 6 into infinity into Cm. So denominator will become very large. So x will tend to 0, right? X will tend to 0. So it will start from minus infinity, and as we approach, okay, when omega is slightly greater than omega p, the x will start from minus infinity, and as omega tends to 0, the x will become 0. The other way of understanding this is like this, okay? Your friend was, I think, suggesting the same thing. You can separately use L'Hospital's rule for this, okay, right? And then this one, okay, this one, what will happen? This will be, for this case, it will work, okay? Mathematically, whether it will work for other cases or not, you check, right? But for this case, it will work. Omega square minus omega square, same order, right? So when omega tends to, okay, let me ignore the what do you say, L'Hospital rule. So another method I will explain. Now, if omega tends to say infinity, means omega is very large. If omega is very large, omega square minus omega s square, we can approximate it equal to how much? Yes. I told you, suppose that, what? Please answer. I could not hear. Please repeat.
Omega square.
Very, okay. This is like this. A person is very, very rich. Okay, he has 100 crore rupees, right? And from his 100 crore rupees, say 2 rupees are gone. He doesn't care, isn't it? Okay. From 100 crore rupees, if say 1 crore rupees is gone, then he will worry, right? From 100 crore rupees or 2 rupees is gone, he don't care. He will not waste his time for it, isn't it? So when omega is very large, okay, omega tends to infinity and omega is finite, okay. So what we can do is omega square minus omega s square, we can approximate equal to omega square. Likewise, the denominator omega square minus omega p square, we can approximate it to be, yes, whatever denominator we can approximate.
Omega.
Yes, we can again approximate it to be omega square. So when omega is very large, this term alone, the second part, omega square minus omega s square is also omega square. Omega square minus omega p square is also nearly equal to omega square. So omega square will cancel. Okay. Now we can come to this part, minus j by omega cm. Okay. And omega tends to infinity. So denominator infinity, very large value. Anything divided by very large value. 100, if you divide by 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, very big value. then it will be nearly equal to 0. You can try it in calculator. Okay. So what will happen? The omega, when it is very large. So in simple words, if omega is, when omega tends to infinity, when omega is very large, you can neglect omega s square. You can neglect omega p square, right? Then omega square in the second multiplication term will cancel. So that will be 1. And in the first term, which is minus j by omega cm, when omega tends to infinity, denominator is very large, so the entire term will tend to 0. X will tend to 0, right? So as omega tends to infinity, x will tend to 0. So what we have understood? For very low frequencies, we have the impedance tending to minus infinity. So minus infinity, when omega s is equal to when omega is equal to omega x, when omega is equal to omega s, x is 0. When omega becomes close to omega p but slightly less, x is plus infinity. When omega is slightly greater than omega p, then x is minus infinity. And as we gradually increase omega, when omega tends to infinity, at infinite point, this graph of x will touch the x-axis. The graph of the reactance will touch the x-axis when at infinity. Okay, so this is the graph. And so one thing you have to observe. Let us discuss some very basics about resistor, capacitor, inductor. Okay, primarily let us discuss about the capacitor and inductor. So in the capacitor, which impedance is negative? You tell me. Resistive inductance, resistive impedance or capacitive impedance? Which impedance is negative? Among inductor, capacitor, which impedance is negative? Which impedance is positive? Only less than 1 minute remaining. Please answer. L is j omega L.